All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we are going to break down a really powerful communication skill. It's one that can totally transform those tense, stressful conversations at work, the ones, into something actually productive.
How many times have you felt this? Or, let's be honest, maybe you've been on the other side, being the person trying to fix it. Either way, it's just so frustrating, right? It usually comes from a good place. We see a problem and our first instinct is to solve it. But in that rush, we can completely miss what the other person actually needs. So let's get into how to do it right.
So, here's the plan. We're going to start with why we get it wrong so often. Then, we'll get into the good stuff, a skill called reflective listening. And we'll break it down into 3 simple levels you can start using right away: content, emotion, and meaning. Okay, section 1, why we misunderstand. Seriously, why is it that a conversation that's supposed to be helpful so often just backfires? Well, the answer is kind of baked right into our brains.
See, our brains are basically problem-solving machines. So when a coworker comes over all stressed out and venting, what's our first instinct? It's not to listen, is it? Nope. It's to act. We immediately jump into fix-it mode because honestly, their stress makes us uncomfortable, and we think the fastest way out is a quick solution.
And what does fix-it mode look like? Well, it looks a lot like this. We give advice, we tell our own, oh, that happened to me once story, we try to cheer them up, hey, it's not so bad. The thing is, even with the best intentions, what we're really saying is, your feelings are a problem, let me fix them. And that just shuts people down. It makes everything worse. All right, so if jumping in to fix everything is the wrong move, what's the right one? Well, this is where we introduce a much more powerful tool. Let's talk about reflective listening.
So what is this exactly? It's the skill of showing someone you get it. You do that by basically bouncing back what they're saying and feeling. And here's the magic part. It helps them figure out their own thoughts and often their own solutions. Your job changes from being the fixer to just being a really good listener.
Now, this might sound complicated, but I promise it's not. We can break it all down into 3 really simple levels. Think of it like a staircase. First, you have the content, just what they said. Then you go a step deeper to the emotion, what they felt. And finally, you get to the core, the meaning, why this whole thing actually matters to them.
Okay, let's dive into that first level, the content. This is the easiest place to start.
So let's use an example. Say your colleague, Alex, is super stressed about a project deadline. Your typical knee-jerk reaction is on the left. You should just ask for an extension. See? Problem solving. But look at the reflective statement on the right. So it sounds like you're worried about hitting this deadline, especially with all the new requests coming in. All you're doing is repeating the facts back to them. That's it. But that one little change proves you're actually listening. Okay, so once they know you've heard the basic facts, you've earned the right to go a little deeper. Let's talk about level 2, the emotion. So Alex is still venting, and now they're getting more frustrated. Our typical reaction? Don't get so worked up. It'll be fine. We're basically telling them their feelings are wrong. But with reflective listening, you just name the emotion. It seems like you're feeling really frustrated and maybe even a little overwhelmed by the pressure. You're not agreeing or disagreeing, you're just validating what you see. This is huge. It can bring the tension down almost instantly. And now for the final level. This is the deepest and honestly the most powerful one, getting to the meaning. This is where you try to understand why this matters so much to them. Let's say Alex explains that this isn't a one-time thing. It happens all the time. The typical dismissive response is, yeah, that's just how this place works, right? But a reflective listener connects the dots. You offer a guess about the deeper meaning. I'm guessing it feels like your hard work isn't being respected and that it's undermining your ability to do your best work. Wow, when you get to that level, you're not just talking about a deadline anymore. You're talking about their value, their purpose. That's a game changer. Okay, here's a pro tip that makes all of this work so much better. Notice how the good examples were statements, not questions. There's a reason for that. If you ask, are you frustrated? It can sound like an accusation, right? It puts them on the spot. But if you say, it seems like you're frustrated, it's just an observation. It's an invitation for them to tell you more or even to correct you. It keeps the conversation flowing. So what's the big payoff here? Why does this actually work? Well, for starters, it de-escalates tension like nothing else because the other person finally feels seen and heard. They stop fighting to be understood. You empower them to find their own solutions, which is way more powerful than you just handing one over. And the best part for you, it stops you from feeling like you have to fix every single problem that comes your way. Look, this is a skill.
And like any skill, it's going to take some practice. You're not going to be pro overnight, but you don't have to be perfect. Just think about it. What is one conversation you have coming up this week where you could try this? Just start with level 1, reflecting the content. You might be shocked at how much you can transform that interaction and start building a much more supportive and, frankly, less stressful place to work.